Hi guys, welcome to Fernbus 2019 with the Simple Economy. The Simple Economy is something I've built in an Excel spreadsheet. It is in no way part of Fernbus, it's completely separate. I'm not connected to the developers or publishers of Fernbus in any way. This is totally separate. It doesn't affect how you play Fernbus. You do everything in Fernbus in exactly the same way. You just use this to set ticket rates and costs and then generate profit or loss and sort of add that factor to the game if you so wish. If you want to use the spreadsheet, you can post a comment with your email address and I'll email you two files, an example which has a couple of example routes in it, which basically shows you how to set up a couple of routes with full instructions, and also a blank one which basically doesn't have the example routes but still has all the full instructions. And these videos will show you how to set up a complete network and how to use the spreadsheet and everything to do that. So let's get started. Let's start the game and we'll get going and we'll see how it works. Just to say, I have got Fernbus set on windowed mode purely so that I can flick between Fernbus and the spreadsheet to show you how things work, because we are going to need to do that because we need to transfer some information between the two. Okay, well, between Fernbus and the spreadsheet. So, okay, let's start Fernbus. Okay, so I'm going to go into career mode. I've set my home as Erfurt, mainly because it's sort of near the middle of the map. And I'm going to use that as a sort of central hub and then set hubs to the north, south, east and west, and then build a network from there. So my first route, I'm going to create a new route which will be route 1, starting at Erfurt and going to Hanover, which is going to be my northern hub. Okay, so you need to note that that's 242 kilometres and 2 hours 52 minutes. And here is the first time we need the spreadsheet. So we'll bring up the spreadsheet, and on the definitions tab we need to note our first route section, so to speak. This is not actually a route, this is just a section going from Erfurt to Hanover, which could be used on any number of different routes. Now you'll notice over here there are ticket rates from £9.99 to £109.99. You can set them to be whatever you like, they're just examples that I've set. In here is all the destinations, Germany, Austria and Switzerland. If you don't have the Austria-Switzerland DLC, it's fine, you can still use it, you just ignore those destinations obviously, don't set any routes going to them because you don't have them. Over here is the cost index, which I've set as £7.99, that's per 10 kilometres. The cost index is there to reflect the fact that bus companies have costs before passengers ever get on the bus. Fuel, maintenance, drivers' wages, all that stuff. So I've set it as £7.99 per 10 kilometres. You can set that to be whatever you like. Bear in mind, if you increase it, you might need to increase your ticket rates, otherwise you'll make a loss. If you reduce it, you might need to reduce your ticket rates, otherwise you'll make massive profits, which are unrealistic. So you need to keep a balance, but it's entirely up to you what you set these rates to be. Okay, excuse me taking a quick drink. Okay, so we need to set that first route. So we're going, this first route section is Erfurt to Hanover, and if you remember it was 242 kilometres. Now we need to set a ticket rate for this, and if you've ever listened to that announcement in Fernbus, which will drive you crackers if you play it every single stop, they mentioned that people can go online and benefit from discounts by buying their tickets in advance. And what we're going to do is we're going to offer our customers discounts if they buy their tickets in advance. So what we're going to do is we're going to charge people £19.99 if they buy them in advance and £24.99 if they buy them on the day. So that will be the case whenever any route includes a section from Erfurt to Hanover. So that really is there just to remind you that that is the tickets rate you set for any section of Erfurt to Hanover. Now let's go to the routes tab. So this is where you set your actual route. So in this case it's going to be route 1. It's going to be Erfurt to Hanover. There's no vias, there's no intermediate stops. If there were, you could put them in there. Now, if we could just check Fernbus again, the time was 2 minutes 52, and you'll see why we're putting that in a second. So it's time format, so it's 2:52. Okay, and the distance was 242 kilometres, so you just put that in there. Now the ticket rates, in case we've forgotten, we can check definitions, was 19.99 and 24.99. So we'll pop those in. Oops. Get the right one. There we go. Everything's drop downs, so it's really easy for you to select everything. So that's done. So that is your routes tab done, and you'll notice it's pulled in the cost. So it's taken the 242 distance, multiplied that by 799 per 10 kilometres and worked out a cost. So it's saying it's going to cost €193.36 to run this service. Let's go to the results tab. If we now key in route number 1, because that's the route we're going to drive, that's going to go to Erfurt to Hanover, and it's pulled in the ticket rates. Rate 1 is going to be $19.99 if they buy it in advance. Rate 2 will be $24.99 if they buy it from us on the day. Income currently is 0 because we haven't got any passengers yet, we haven't picked them up yet. Just check the summary tab. We're making a loss, 193.36. We know that, we haven't got any passengers yet, but we've got the cost because we know we're gonna have to pay the driver. We've got fuel in the bus, we've got maintenance on the bus, all that stuff. Here it will tell us how many routes are on time, how many were late, what our percentage on time was. You'll see all that in a while. Go to routes list tab and you'll see it's pulled in what our route is. This will just list what our route is. At the moment it's up to 24 routes. We can expand that later if we need to, but for now that's our first route in there. Let's go to route 1 and 2. Again, it's pulled in Erfurt to Hanover. These boxes are just tick boxes. You can click those if you don't want your route to run on Tuesday, let's say. You can say which days of the week you want the route to run. I have left the check-in time in Fernbus at 2 minutes, so I'm saying this route's going to start at 10:02 and run every hour. And if you remember, the time in Fernbus was 2 hours 52 minutes. So 10:02 out of Erfurt will get to Hanover at 12:54. 11:02 will get there at 13:54. So that's where we put the time in, because that then calculates the arrival time at Hanover. So that's all that's for. Okay, back to the results tab. That's where we're going to need to be. When we get there, we're going to say how many people had tickets. Okay, let's go back to Fernbus. Save our route. And we are ready to drive. So we'll just wait for Fernbus to load up, and we should be at the depot at Erfurt. Here's our bus. Destination display. Turn on the engine. Turn all these on. Now, because the spreadsheet in no way affects Fernbus, I'm not going to bother about playing the announcement, because the only thing that means is I lose a few experience points in Fernbus, but this is not about experience points in Fernbus, so I'm not worried about that. And I've turned the radio off because you can't have music playing on YouTube because of copyright and so on, so that's why the radio's off. Okay, let's go. So we're going to drive down the first stop and get our passengers, hopefully. number of passengers, how many have tickets, want to buy tickets, going to the right place, all that stuff is still controlled by Fernbus. So ultimately, whether we make any money is still controlled by Fernbus. So let's hope there's some people there. There's nearly always some. Is there enough? That's the question. We need about 10 to break even. 9 or 10. We need the lights to change. Traffic lights are the bane of my life in Fernbus. Here we go. There's a lot of people blasting their horns about something down there. AI having a moment about something, as it usually is, to be fair. I have to say the AI does seem to have been getting better though. Doesn't seem to be quite as manic as it used to be. Still has its moments, but not sure. I logged into the smartphone. I'll do it now while I'm stuck at this red light. Might as well log into the smartphone, ready to check the passengers in when we get there. Can't do any harm. You'll see I've got a couple of extra mirrors on. It's just so I can, because I'm flicking between Fernbus and the spreadsheet, I'm not using any track IR or anything like that. So I'm using the extra mirrors just so I can see what the AI is up to. I find it easier that way while flicking between the spreadsheet and everything. You sort of do need to keep an eye on what the AI is doing, especially those speedy couriers. They're the worst. Noisy. I should say I'm using a steering wheel and controller, and I've got a button set up to take me outside so I can see that traffic light, because sometimes you're inside view, you just get to a point where you can't see the lights. almost at the stop now. The Bahnhof. There's our stop, and there's our passengers. Okay, just pause for a second. Just a little tip with regard to checking in the passengers and the spreadsheet. If there are any who want to buy a ticket, if you look at the passengers and look above their heads at the symbols, if they've got the two circles with the line between them, the route symbol, basically they've already got the ticket. Check them in first. If there's any with the little ticket symbol, the little piece of paper type symbol, they want to buy a ticket, so do them afterwards, because it's easier to remember. You can remember where the ones, how many there were who had tickets in advance, and then you can do the ones afterwards. And when you're doing more than one stop at a time, it's easier to remember that way. It's just a little tip, makes it a little bit easier. Anyway, I don't think there's any who want to buy tickets this time, but we'll see. But let's just check these people in and see what happens. Okay, so Kate, yep, that's one.
Salut, Sie wollen bestimmt mein Ticket sehen.
Alicia. Oh, go away, email. Yep, that's two.
Mahlzeit, hier mein Ticket.
Hanover, yes, mate. Oh no. Yep, that's three.
Hi, das Ticket, bitteschön.
Runa. Four.
Auf geht's. Salut, ich hoffe, ich bin hier nicht.
Hanover, Anika. That's five.
Sehr freundlich. Grüezi, ist das
Six.
Vielen Dank. Mahlzeit, hier ist mein Ticket.
Hanover. You on my list? You're there.
Dankeschön.
One,
Hallo, Sie wollen bestimmt mein Ticket sehen.
eight.
Grüezi, hier ist mein Ticket.
Danke.
Nine.
Moin, Sie wollen bestimmt mein Ticket sehen. Hallo.
Ten.
Moin, das Ticket, bitteschön. Ciao.
Okay, so if we just go back to check in and just look at to do, there's nobody left to do, so we've done everything. Checked in, we've actually checked in, well, I think there was 11. It says 10. I think we checked in 11 people, but 10. Okay, 10. So what we will do is bring up the spreadsheet. There were 10 people and they'd all bought tickets in advance, so they are all going to be 1999ers. There was 0 people who bought a ticket from us, so there was none at $24.99. It's a bit of a shame, but there you go, you can't win them all. So if we go across, and this is a bit of a pain, I know, but you go across here and you will see that our income is $199.90, our costs are $193.36, so we're going to make a princely sum of €6.54 on this journey. Oh well, never mind. Now, you're going to need your cursor in the on time column, because you might not make €6.54 on this journey. You could end up making a loss. We don't know yet whether we're going to be on time, and if you're not on time you lose some of your money, so we need to try and be on time. So let's see what happens. So we will find out about that when we get there. so what we can do now is skip to a minute before departure. As I said earlier, I'm not going to play the announcement because it only affects experience in Fernbus. I'm not worried about that. So let's get into gear, get the handbrake off and go. It's a fairly short journey, so we've got no rest stop to worry about. Let's hope there's no police stops, because that'll save us some time. Some green traffic lights would help. This traffic doesn't look too bad at the minute if we can just get across these lights. Come on, lights. Come on, do us a favour here. Oh, they're not blasting their horns at me. I can't do anything. It's a red traffic light. What do you want me to do? Ooh, I can just get across here, I think. Just about make that before they all go. That was a bit naughty, but I just got round there. Officer, I know I sort of jumped that red light, sorry. Schedule keeping all that, you know. He understands. Too many red lights. Could really do with some of these being green. Oh, come on, guys. Get a green light and then you get holed up in the road. Oh, what was that?
Können Sie auch geradeaus fahren?
What was that? What on earth? No idea what that was. I got no idea what that was. Maybe my mirror hit a board or something, but there was no car there. Unless there was an invisible wall. Oh, very strange. Oh well. Least of our problems, really. Whoa, don't hit the policeman. Good. That was very peculiar. I didn't see anything. Clearly thought I hit something, but come on, lights, change please. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we could do it. To make sure I stay en route, if I take a wrong turn anywhere and lose some time, I'll really be in trouble. I think that crash must have been that a mirror hit something. That's the only thing I can think it could be. But then I drove straight forward and got out of it, so it's very strange. It's quite peculiar. It's never happened before, gotta say. I could drive that route offline 1,000 times and that wouldn't happen. As soon as you record a video, it happens. Somebody wrote a law that says that. And now, of course, I could stop and then re-record the video so that it doesn't happen. But I'm not going to do that because that sort of defeats the object, doesn't it, really? If I crash, I crash, you know. Hey. Crashes are part of Fernbus, especially when the AI does ridiculous things and you really cannot avoid it. It's part of the game. As he's getting caught speeding, when the speed limit changes from 100 to 80 and back to 100 in about 20 metres or something stupid. Ridiculous speed limit changes that are so short and you really don't see them, and it moans at you that you're speeding, and well, maybe it's just me, but I sometimes just don't see them. He says, "You're speeding," and I think, really? Technically I was speeding there, but I was accelerating ready for the 80. Okay, let's try not to go above 80. We're coming into 100 anyway, aren't we? Yep, we can go 100 now. So most important thing is I keep an eye on this route and don't take a wrong turn anywhere. The reason why I should, I think this is a pretty simple route. I was driving the other day going to Berlin and I took a wrong turn. Oh my god, it was a nightmare. Your speed, where was speed? How was it 100? When did it change to 80? I did not see it change to 80. After you said I was speeding, there was a sign that said 80. I swear there wasn't a sign that said 80 before. You got to watch these speedy couriers. They are a nightmare. I swear there wasn't a sign that said 80 before they said I was speeding. There was one afterwards. I saw the one afterwards. I'm sure sometimes in Fernbus the "you're speeding" message actually comes before the speed limit sign. So I think they've got it a little bit wrong in a couple of places, but I mean it's by a few metres, and what the hell. When you consider all the things that are very good about the game, I mean, if you get a couple of little things like that, I really don't think it matters that much. And crashes and speeding affect your experience points in Fernbus, they don't affect my spreadsheet. So as far as the simple economy goes, none of that matters. Because I didn't see any point in including it. I could include something in there that costs you money if you are speeding. But you could not tell the truth, effectively. You could get done for speeding 20 times on a journey and have to key in the number 20 and key in 0 instead. So where's the point? Really? I mean, technically you can inflate the number of passengers if you want to. Like, I picked up 10 passengers and I could say I picked up 20, but where's the point, really? If I'm going to do it, I might as well put in the number of passengers it says I had. But I just didn't see the point in doing speeding or crashes, because you could just lie, effectively. And I just thought it was pretty pointless. So I thought, well, you're going to do anything with ticket rates and costs, just do it, and put in the correct number of tickets, and if you want to try and simulate it at all, do that. The ultimate point of doing it was that I thought we might, if enough people are interested, try to do a virtual coach company, and using the spreadsheet, so everybody who's driving for the coach company uses the spreadsheet, uses pre-established routes and ticket rates, and drives, submits the spreadsheet periodically, and then you get basically updates saying who's driven the most kilometres, who's made the most money. Not necessarily as a competition, because we all have lives, and different people might be able to drive more time than others, but more just to say, this is what people are doing, if anybody's interested in doing it. If they're not, they're not. Equally, if you're not interested in using the spreadsheet, then you're not. But if you are and you want it, let me know and I'll send it to you. It's something that's there. If anybody wants to use it, it's free. It's not going to cost you anything. It's something extra for Fernbus, if it's something you're interested in. I mean, it's something I'd like to see TML include in the game, but apparently they've got no plans to include an economy in Fernbus at the moment. So, if TML aren't going to do it, I thought, well, I'll try and do something. I'm not a coder, so I don't have the skills to try and, even if TML would allow it, to interrogate their files in some way and pull information out of it. And I'm not sure you could, even if you had the skills to do it. But if they're not going to put an economy in, I thought, well, try and do something. So, there you go. And I think it can be developed to do quite a bit more in time. This is very much a sort of first cut of what we might be able to do with it. I'm sure people out there will have ideas as to how we can develop it to do more things. I mean, certainly we can have pivot tables and charts and all sorts to analyse things and, graph how things are progressing, and maybe there's other metrics we can add. I don't know, anybody's got any ideas, feel free. I spent my whole life working as a statistician, so it's sort of my thing, and Excel is sort of what I've spent my life doing, so that's sort of where I'm coming from with it. So I'm still en route at the moment, so it's good news. We're still going the right way. Don't know how we're doing for time, mind. Actually, not bad. We've got an hour and a half to do 131 kilometres. That should not be beyond the realms of possibility. Shouldn't be. So what do we need to do? About 70, 80 an hour? Yeah, you should be able to do that. If we get some green traffic lights and no police pulling us over at services, we might be alright. on, buddy. Someone's found it hard to believe that limit's 100 down some of these roads. Doesn't feel like it should be, but seems a bit quick, but there you go. It was 160 mile an hour in the UK on a single carriageway. That's about right. So maybe it's okay. Coming up on the Hanover turn. Still got over an hour to go. Might be alright here. tried to do 67 kilometres. We should be okay. No police check, that's good news. Okay, so we're near enough in Hanover. We've got over half an hour, so I think we're going to be on time, so we'll keep our very small profit. When we do get there, before I let them off, I'm actually going to count how many passengers are on my bus, because I've got the feeling there's 11. I might be wrong, but I thought I counted 11. So I'm going to check, make sure. It's not hard to have a wander down the bus and just check how many there are. Make sure Fernbus isn't trying to do me out of a passenger. Sometimes it doesn't list them all on the check-in for some reason. I technically jumped that red traffic light, but I was sort of across the junction when that bloke hit his brakes, so I thought, well, what the hell. Now that must be the Hanover Eye to our left, sort of the London Eye, but the Hanover one. I bet they had it first, I'm sure. Oh, green traffic light, my word. Oh my god, I'm supposed to be going left here. I wasn't looking at my route. Nearly got myself in a right tizzy, but got out of it. Apologies to anybody there, I was in the wrong lane. I was in a right mess. This is a bit tight, people. It's a slightly tight junction, to say the least. So is this one. I don't know, this one's not quite so bad when you get to it. Ugh. Oh, well, you can't turn there, mate. How can you do that? Is he not cutting that corner slightly? Or am I imagining things? What the hell? We got out of it. Okay. At least he stopped and didn't drive straight into me. I suppose there is that. See, the AI has improved. In the old days, it'd have gone straight into you. Unfortunately, that mirror's now blocking that. Mirror's blocking the traffic light. Yeah, I think the AI has improved a bit. Oh, that's improved a bit. Stroke of luck. That'll do. I still don't trust the AI there, at all. Trust any of them to do anything. Go on, mate. I don't trust them to go where they're indicating. Mind you, half the time they shouldn't trust me either, because I'm suddenly realising that I'm not looking at the route indicator and going the wrong way. It's not as bad as they are at times. But we are almost there. Our problems for this route are nearly over. And we haven't done bad, apart from that crash with a, I don't know, it must have been a sign or something. My mirror must have hit a sign I didn't see. And a speeding when I didn't even see the speed limit sign. I don't think there was one. Apart from that, we haven't done bad. Nobody's been hurt too badly. I think our passengers are in one piece. For the most part, anyway. I don't think they'll have too many complaints. I'm not going to count how many there are, though, because I still think Fernbus is doing me out of a bus.
Wir sind zu früh.
Yeah, we're early, mate. I know, it's surprising. Right, let's just see how many are on this bus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3. Hang on, let's go back to the front. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11. I said there was 11. Fernbus, you cheeky Fernbus, you're doing me out of a passenger. Right, why don't you let me go out the door? Thank you. Open the luggage door. They've got their bags. We're done. There was 11. I knew there was 11. Okay, so our route is done, so we can log out. So we can bring up the spreadsheet. So if I go back, I can change that 10 to 11 because there were 11 people on my bus. For some reason it didn't show one of them on the list of people to check in, but they were going to the right place. So what you now need to do is put in on time as yes, and we'll now see that we've made a profit of 26.53. But just to illustrate, if the on time was no, our profit would be 4.54, because what would happen is we would lose 10%, because if you're late, your passengers don't like being late, and they will claim 10% compensation from the company for being late. They're a bit unhappy about being late, let's put it that way. So unfortunately you lose 10% if you're late, so just bear that in mind. I know sometimes it's not your fault, but that's life. So if you go to your summary tab now, you can see you had 11 passengers. You can see what your income was, what your costs were, what your profit was. You can see you're on time, you see how many routes were late, and you see what your percentage on time was, which at the moment is 100% because you've only done one route. So you now go to your definitions tab, ready for next time. You can save your spreadsheet and you're ready for next time. So join me next time when we will do the return trip from Hanover to Erfurt. That will be our northern hub set up, and then we will progress from there. Take care guys, see you next time. Bye.